Welcome to our coverage of Island Vote 2018. Our election team has you covered at all the major party headquarters on the island.
You can keep track of all of tonight's results and get the latest election headlines on the info bar running across the bottom of your screen. Plus, you can get the numbers for every race, including all of the town races, judgeships, and the proposals on our website, news12.com, and on the News 12 mobile app. Just click on that Island Vote 2018 banner. All right, time now once again to take a look at the results. We begin with the governor. As you know, Governor Andrew Cuomo has won his third term as governor. Moving on to now to New York State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli winning that. He is the incumbent there. And New York State Attorney General Letitia James winning that race. All right, moving to the Senate. First District, Ken LaValle wins. He's the incumbent in the second. John Flanagan, 56% closer than he would have liked, I'm sure. The third is Monica Martinez, has defeated Dean Murray. And in the fourth, we have Phil Boyle, the incumbent again, winning 52%. And in the fifth, Jim Gorin. This is the rematch. It was very close last time, and he handily beat him this time. For State Senate in District 6, Ken Pannon, your incumbent, losing to challenger Kevin Thomas in this race. In District 7, again, your challenger winning this one, Anna Kaplan, beating out incumbent Elaine Phillips. In District 8, John Brooks, your incumbent, winning this race. And in District 9, your incumbent, Todd Kaminsky, winning that race. All right, the national level, we have Kirsten Gillibrand, who has won re-election there. And then moving to Congress, the 1st through 5th districts, we have Lee Zeldin, the incumbent, winning re-election. Pete King, the 2nd district, wins re-election. And Tom Suozzi in the 3rd. This is Steve Israel's seat. He was the congressman for 16 years. Tom Suozzi takes that over. Kathleen Rice is the incumbent, has won re-election, and Greg Meeks is running unopposed, so he obviously won. All right, incumbent Congressman Lee Zeldin beating out his Democratic contender, Perry Gershon. And Sherry Einhorn is at Suffolk GOP headquarters in Patchogue now.
Well, the crowd certainly cleared out quickly here from Suffolk GOP headquarters in Patchogue, but overall, Republicans here in Suffolk County say they are happy with the way things turned out. Chairman John J. LaValle telling a feisty crowd earlier this evening there was no blue wave here in Suffolk County. Key congressional race that we were watching along with everyone else, the 1st District, Congressman Lee Zeldin winning his 3rd term. He told a packed room earlier tonight this was a campaign about results versus resistance.
There's going to be debate. There's going to be politics. There's going to be some amount of partisanship. But ultimately, at the end of the day, when you're talking about these big issues, if you want to do something on healthcare, if you want to do something on immigration, it requires everybody working together. And I think that's something that really resonated with me as I was talking to voters.
Now, Zeldin, who has been criticized for being too close an ally to President Trump, told me earlier tonight that though he does agree with the president on a lot of issues, he is not afraid to vote the way he believes is beneficial to his district and the rest of Long Island. That's the very latest here at Suffolk GOP headquarters in Patchogue. I'm Sherry Einhorn, News 12 Long Island.
And the Democrats have regained control of the House from the Republicans. And Monica Martinez claiming victory in a state Senate race. Our Doug Geet is at Suffolk Democratic headquarters in Hauppauge now. Doug.
All right, Macy and Stone, the biggest story on Long Island politically this election night is also the biggest story New York statewide in terms of what happened, and that is the Senate will now be in the hands of Democrats. And of Nassau and Suffolk's 9 state senators, 6 will now be Democrats come January, including, as you mentioned, Monica Martinez, a Suffolk legislator from Brentwood.
There's so many issues that are at stake and issues that affect humans. It has nothing to do with politics. It's time that politics stays away from humans. And I think we need people who understand and that, that will get the job done. And that's me.
All right, and Jim Gorin, a former Suffolk legislator, winning up in the 5th District in the Huntington Oyster Bay area as well. So again, 6 of Long Island's 9 state senators will be Democrats starting in January. That's it from Suffolk Democratic headquarters in Hauppauge. Doug Geet, News 12 Long Island. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Doug. Yeah, the GOP has lost its grip on the majority in the state Senate.
Rich Barabi's at Nassau GOP headquarters in Westbury.
A tough night here at Nassau Republican headquarters in Westbury. Joining us right now, the State Senate Majority Leader, John Flanagan, Republican of East Northport. John, not the outcome you wanted, of course. What's your reaction tonight?
No, certainly not the outcome we wanted. I'm very grateful to the constituents of my own district for re-electing me. And certainly we have a lot of quality members who are still in our conference. Look, I'm going to go to sleep tonight exhausted, but I'm going to know that I tried to do everything conceivable to make this work for the people of Long Island and all of my colleagues in Nassau and Suffolk County. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Tonight just was not our night, but I really do believe what we advocated and what we stand for and what we support are things that we should not walk away from. So again, tough night, but I also believe in democracy and I believe in elections. And the public has spoken, and we need to be chastened by what they've had to say during the course of this election.
We heard Assemblyman Montesano earlier say the people are going to realize the mistake they made here. What do you think, how does this end up in terms of the impact on Long Island?
I think it's a very serious potential for detrimental effects on Long Island. I'm worried that the property tax cap will not be continued. I'm worried there'll be no state spending cap. I'm worried we're going to have tuition for illegal immigrants. I'm worried that we're not going to get our fair share of education. I'm worried about a lot of different things. And I know what I'm talking about because I've already seen this movie. So they have made it clear the Assembly wants to work with the Senate. They want to raise everybody's income taxes. And I don't see how you do that. I don't see you advocate things that they stand for and be able to pay for. First of all, I just think it's bad public policy. But, you know, they're going to have their chance to govern, and I have always been outspoken. I will be hopefully an articulate spokesperson on behalf of the members of our conference, certainly the people in my district, and I love Long Island and I love the state of New York, and I have every intention of playing a pivotal role in the things that we do.
Okay, John, thank you for the time.
Thank you.
State Senate Majority Leader John Flanagan joining us there. Again, a tough night for Nassau Republicans, although Congressman Peter King was elected once again in his congressional district. That's the latest here in Westbury. Rich Barabi, News 12 Long Island.
All right, let's bring our analysts back in. Larry Levy, Mike DeWitziak. Again, big news tonight is the state Senate has flipped. 6 now on Long Island are Democrat, and only 3 are Republican. You brought up before, we had kind of an immigrant wave coming into the state Senate.
Right. This was a coming out party for the Latino vote on Long Island. We saw signs of it last year in the Nassau County Executive and Hempstead town races, when it was a record turnout in some of the Latino and other minority precincts that put Laura Curran and Laura Gillen over the top. This was much more assertive, and in a way that basically created the first Latino state senator on Long Island, possibly in any suburb. Mike and I are going to have to go back and check all this. You know, when you start making these things, you better know what you're talking about, and I hope I got it right. But you know, as I said before, it's not my parents' suburb anymore. It's not even my kids' suburb anymore. Things are changing so fast, and Latinos are the fastest growing immigrant group, and Salvadorans are the biggest within the Latino voting group. Asians, wait till you see in 2 to 4 years when you start seeing some Asian candidates. And in fact, we did with the fellow who looks like he's upset Camp Hannon, an Indian immigrant.
Yeah, that's so. Are we seeing a changing demographic here on Long Island? I mean, we have Laura Curran and
sure. I mean, it's been coming for a long, long time. I mean, and you know, when we say that it's not just ethnic, although that's a big part of it, but it's a party. I mean, you know, again, go back 30 years ago, and Long Island was 50% Republican, 25% Democrat, 2 to 1, and now it's roughly a third Republican, a third Democrat, a third Independent. It's gotten to be very diverse in almost every way you can imagine.
Are we underestimating, or are we just not focusing on the millennials at this point? Or were they a factor in this race, or was this one race, or is this something that's going to be in the future?
I don't think we have data that fine on local turnout of by age group. I don't think we have that yet.
We don't know that yet. I think we can say with a large amount of confidence that the minority Latino vote certainly came out in better numbers than they ever have in a midterm election. I think that's clear. The age demographic, we don't know about yet. I mean, this is stuff people like me analyze ad infinitum.
We like to give you homework.
Basically. Yeah, well, that's basically what, you know, so I mean, if I'm going to go out on a limb and make a prediction, I'm going to say they still didn't come out in the same numbers, because by and large, people don't start voting until about age 35, when two seminal events usually happen in their life. They either have children or they own a house. Those are the events in people's lives that get them to start voting religiously, basically when they have skin in the game.
Right. And millennials are famously delaying childbirth and delaying the purchase of homes. So it's going to take a while before they become invested in the way Mike said, and become a force in at least in the suburbs.
You have to pay that first property tax bill.
Yeah, before you get it. That's
when
right.
It really gets home. All right, Mike DeWitz, I appreciate that. And Larry Levy, we're going to come back to you in a little bit. All right, throughout tonight's Island Vote coverage, you can track the results and get the latest election night headlines at that info bar right at the bottom of your screen.
And for up-to-the-minute results, head over to news12.com or check out the News 12 mobile app. Just look for that Island Vote 2018 banner. Keep it here. We'll be right back.
Andrew Cuomo easily winning a third term as New York governor.
News 12 Long Island's Kevin Vesey has spent the night with the Cuomo camp in Manhattan.
Well, this room cleared out pretty quickly, but earlier tonight it was absolutely packed. And you know what? It only took a few moments after the polls closed at 9 o'clock for the crowd that was here to erupt in cheers. Governor Andrew Cuomo sailing easily to victory, securing his third term in office. And as he did throughout much of the campaign, the governor directed much of his message tonight during his victory speech at President Donald Trump and Republicans in Washington. He called his re-election a statement by the residents of the state of New York against the president's policies, and boldly said that New York is not buying what Donald Trump is selling. Now, the governor ended his speech with a message about unity, reciting the Pledge of Allegiance along with the crowd, emphasizing the phrase, "One nation, under God, indivisible." And Cuomo also touted his administration's policies, calling New York the progressive capital of the nation. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Yes, we are the progressive state, and yes, we have the highest minimum wage and best paid family leave law, and yes, we are pro-union 100%. But we also have the highest number of jobs in our state's history, lower taxes, and have businesses with record profits. We can raise all boats together, and we are in New York.
And again, Governor Cuomo sailing easily to victory tonight. He will serve a third term in Albany. That's the very latest here at Cuomo headquarters in Midtown Manhattan. Kevin Vesey, News 12, Long Island.
Well, Republican Marc Molinaro lost his bid to unseat Governor Cuomo.
Yeah, News 12 Long Island's Michelle Brown is in Poughkeepsie at Molinaro headquarters.
Marc Molinaro fought till the end, but the odds were just not in his favor. After 7 months of campaigning, his race to become the next governor of New York ends in a disappointing defeat. In front of a ballroom full of his supporters at the Grand View in Poughkeepsie, an emotional Marc Molinaro conceded the governor's race to his Democratic incumbent rival, Andrew Cuomo. Molinaro and his running mate, Julie Killian, thanked supporters for believing in them over the past few months. The current Dutchess County executive faced an uphill battle from the start, trying to defeat the two-term incumbent governor in a solidly blue state. The race got ugly at times, with Molinaro accusing Cuomo of running a corrupt administration in Albany, and Cuomo painting Molinaro as a hard-right conservative President Trump clone. But now Molinaro is calling for unity.
Politics ends today. It is our responsibility as New Yorkers and as leaders in our own right to come together for the common good, to put aside differences and to focus on making our state better for the people who call it home.
Molinaro says he will continue to fight for everyday New Yorkers as Dutchess County executive, and he's challenging Governor Cuomo to do the same. We're at the Molinaro headquarters in Poughkeepsie. Michelle Brown, News 12.
And Congressman Pete King declaring victory in what turned out to be a pretty tight race.
News 12 Long Island's Danielle Campbell is at King's headquarters in Massapequa.
Celebrating here at Peter King's headquarters in Massapequa, the long-time congressman, an institution here on Long Island and in Congress, has won again, and a victory that you, of course, fought for but expected.
Yeah, listen, I did fight hard for it. I did expect it, but I took nothing for granted. I mean, it was a solid victory, and again, a very strong victory. On the other hand, I take nothing for granted. As you know, I was campaigning right up to the last few minutes. I always have done that. But I think it's an affirmation of my record in Congress, being independent, being bipartisan, but also fighting hard for the principles I really believe in.
Yes, and on your agenda still, many issues that are concerning Long Islanders, one of them, MS-13.
Yeah, we have to continue the fight against MS-13. We have to make sure we crush it and destroy it and never allow it to come back again. But also, now that the Democrats are going to control the House, we have to find a way to work in a bipartisan way. And I think we can do it on issues like infrastructure, certainly continuing on issues like MS-13, terrorism, and making sure that New York State and Long Island get our proper amount of Homeland Security funding.
And you will continue to sit on those different committees that you have been sitting on.
I'll be still involved with intelligence, Homeland Security, also financial services. But again, the main emphasis will be Homeland Security, and also working very closely with Homeland Security and ICE to make sure that they stay going after MS-13.
Okay, and as far as Gretchen Shirley is concerned, her charge was that you were too old for this. You've done your thing, and you're saying, no way, I got a lot more to do.
Yeah, the voters have spoken. I have a lot more to do. I've done a lot. I have a lot more to do, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Okay, thank you so much,
Thank
Peter
you.
King, who is, as I said, a fixture here on Long Island and in Congress, winning his 14th term in Congress. Reporting from Massapequa, Danielle Campbell, News 12, Long Island.
And plus, Tom Suozzi and Kathleen Rice both winning re-election bids for Congress, and Nassau Democrats also taking back the state Senate.
News 12 Long Island's Christine Nsinga is in Garden City at Nassau Democratic headquarters.
A historic night here at Nassau Democratic headquarters. This room was on fire earlier this evening as the numbers were coming in. Democrats now the majority in the New York State Senate. I spoke with Nassau County Democratic Party leader Jay Jacobs just a short time ago.
If ever there was talk of a blue wave, we had one here in Nassau County. We won every state Senate seat, and that's unprecedented. And now our obligation and our job is to prove that the voters made the right choice. And you can be sure that we're going to be on top of that, and I don't want to disappoint.
We haven't seen this in quite a long time. Aren't you surprised?
If you can define a long time as never, yeah, I agree with you. We've never seen this. And so I am surprised. I thought we were going to have a good night. I thought we were going to win some of these seats. We've had a good turnout operation, but it really was the voters. They were, I think, motivated. They wanted change. They wanted to send a message. And in Nassau County, anyway, they sure came out and did that.
I think voters really want us to do things in Albany, to get real ethics reform passed, electoral reforms, early voting, gun safety laws like the Red Flag Bill, passed the Child Victims Act. There's a long list of bills that have just been held up, and now we can move forward and get it done.
That right there was a newly elected state senator, James Gorin, who has declared victory in the 5th state Senate district. He, of course, running against longtime Republican Paul Marcelino, who was elected nearly 25 years ago. Lots of changes about to go down in Albany. We're in Garden City tonight. Christine Nsinga, News 12, Long Island.
All right, let's get right to the results in the Assembly. All incumbents winning except for the open seat in the 3rd, so let's get right to that. The first is Fred Thiel winning in the 1st. The 2nd is Palumbo winning in the 2nd. 3rd, this was an open seat. Dean Murray, who moved over to the state Senate 3rd and ran against Monica Martinez unsuccessfully, but this DiStefano won this in the 3rd. In the 4th, Engelbright is the winner, and in the 5th, Doug Smith won there.
Assemblyman Ramos in the 6th district running unopposed. He gets his 9th term. Incumbent Garbarino winning his 4th term in District 7. In District 8, your incumbent here winning as well. Fitzpatrick gets a 9th term. In District 9, this one though an upset here. Michael LaPetri beating the incumbent Christine Pellegrino. And in District 10, the incumbent here, Assemblyman Stern, winning another term.
All right, moving to the 11th. Kim, Jean-Pierre wins 64%. She's the incumbent. In the 12th, Rhea is the winner, 56%. In the 13th, Charles Levine is the winner in that, the incumbent again. In the 14th, we also have McDonough, the incumbent, as the winner, 56%. And in the 15th, we have Mike Montesano is the winner in that, the incumbent again. In District 16, your incumbent, Assemblyman Durso, winning overwhelmingly in that race. In District 17, John McKillen, your incumbent, winning there as well. In District 18, Taylor Rayner here. This seat was Erlene Hooper's open seat that she held for 30 years. Rayner beat her in the primary, winning overwhelmingly over James Lamar in this race. And in District 19, Edward Raw, your incumbent, winning here another term here. And in District 20, your incumbent Melissa Miller, winning another term. All right, on the 21st, we had an upset. Judy Griffin wins on the Democratic side, beating the incumbent. On the 22nd, the incumbent wins. Michael Salage winning there. And now moving to the Suffolk County Clerk, Judy Pascal, the incumbent, wins, and John Kennedy retains his spot as Suffolk County Controller. And if you were paying attention to the Brookhaven proposition, that passed, the term limit proposition, that passed pretty heartily. Yes. All right. Joining us once again, our political analyst, Jerry Kremer. Thank you again for being with us all night. So as we kind of wrap up this midterm election night, what really stood out to you, Jerry?
Well, everybody is, the word historic has been used probably about 40 times, but I'm going to give you a different slant on history. Long Island, in its 100 and some odd years of sending legislators from the state Senate to Albany, has never sent a Democratic delegation. They have historically always been a powerful bloc of Republicans. This is the first time that Long Island is actually sending 6 Democrats to the state Senate in Albany. So not only do they become a force of power, but they also have an opportunity to prove that Democrats can govern. The past experience for the party in 2010 was not a good one. The Long Island group is going to play a major role in what happens, but actually they made history tonight by becoming the first real delegation from Long Island in Democratic history. Is this now a more powerful role now for Todd Kaminsky as well? There's no question that Andrea Stewart Cousins was on Long Island 2 weeks ago with the governor and made a statement at a public event that there'll be a special place in the leadership for Todd Kaminsky, and there's no question that that's coming. All right. So, was this predictable on Long Island? I mean, we've talked before. You said earlier about the polling, and we just are not getting it as accurate as we could be, or we're not looking at in the right spots. No, I think you're right. There were a number of people who thought that the Elaine Phillips race, that she had an edge as an incumbent. There were a number of people that felt that Carl Marcelino might hold on, having been an incumbent for a long period of time. But if you go race by race, there's absolutely no question that all the pollsters and the pundits, were wrong in handicapping these races on Long Island. And again, I go back to what I believe is that there was a national wave that hit Long Island that really didn't hit many other places. Now, the fear has always been that if Long Island turns Democrat, then we're going to lose a lot of money to New York City. Is that still something that's got to be proven by the Democrats? The good news for us is that elections come every 2 years, and because they come every 2 years, the happy 6 people tonight will be tested over the next 2 years, and if they yield to pressures that hurt the suburbs, they'll have a very short tenure. All right, well, we'll see what happens. Jared Kremer, appreciate you taking the time tonight and analyzing it. Remember, you can get the results and get the latest election night headlines right there at the bottom of the screen. And you can also get all of the information on our website, news12.com, and of course on our News 12 mobile app. Our Island Vote 2018 coverage returns for you in just a moment. Keep it here.